Hi, and welcome to my Equity Action Plan. Ontario's Equity and Inclusive Strategy aims to help the education community identify and address discriminatory biases and systemic barriers in order to support the achievement and well-being of all students. The Ministry of Education's new document, Achieving Excellence, a Renewed Vision for Education in Ontario, outlines their 4 goals for Ontario's education system. They are promoting well-being, increased public confidence, achieving excellence, and ensuring equity. According to this document, the 4 goals are interconnected, and success in one area contributes to the success in other areas. This is the reality of teaching in the classroom. Not one single person or thing can create an equitable classroom. Creating an equitable classroom takes a more holistic approach, where there are a variety of things that need to be considered. Students that have special education needs, I believe, is an area where there could be more equity. These students are already labeled and put into a box before we meet them. Students with special education needs are so varied and diverse that a one-size-fits-all approach does not and will not work. Toronto District School Board's A Case for Inclusive Education is an excellent document. The research and findings supports the model of inclusion with many examples of boards that have successfully embraced inclusion, demonstrating that an inclusive model has had greater effects on student learning and success is something that all boards and districts should be adapting. The People for Education document, The State of Special Education in Ontario, outlines what is wrong with special education in Ontario. The biggest being the funding for these programs. They're needing to be based on the needs of the school. There is a quote in this document about how the focus should be on the early years. This resonates with me all too well. Children come into kindergarten presenting a variety of exceptionalities, with a dire need for support, and there is nothing allotted to these children. They spend the first years of school getting into trouble, struggling with the structure and content of school, fighting for one-on-one time with educators. It's a mess. The support I've gotten from admin is to document the incidents, and hopefully we'll be granted the support we need. This usually isn't the case. It takes until the students are in older grades that they receive support, if ever. Investments need to be made to support our students and move away from putting out fires or band-aiding the situation. Those working in the school system are overwhelmed, poorly supported, and improperly trained to deal with the realities of what school has become. Professor David Lepofsky had a TED Talk titled Making Education in the Classroom Accessible and Inclusive for Students with Disabilities, What Teachers Can Do to Transform Ontario's Education System. It was shocking to hear that the Toronto District School Board has 50% of their classrooms that are still segregated. David's platform of Teach All Kids on a Footing of Equality is one that is shameful to say isn't happening in our schools. He's right. Our system is flawed. A top-down system is one that never effectively works and has been proven to be flawed. 1 in 6 students have special education needs. 334,000 students in publicly funded schools need some form of special education. These numbers never seem to make it to mainstream media or at the front of any newspaper. I know in the last few rounds of bargaining, education unions have tried to bring light on the many issues with our flawed education system. But the only thing the parents hear is that teachers are greedy and they want more money. David spoke about the Toronto District School Board and how only 85 out of 550 schools have accessible buildings. This was alarming. I knew the number wouldn't be 100% of schools, but 6% is way too low. Why isn't anything being done to improve this? He then begins to discuss how everything is designed to work against students with special education needs. Our buildings, our curriculum, our technology, and our teacher training. He speaks about a vision to have an education system designed on all principles of inclusion instead of giving students a shoehorn to try and fit in. This segues right into universal design for learning, designing schools, curriculum, technology that is for everyone to use to teach all kids. He reminds us that no child, regardless if they are normal or have a disability, no two are the same. We need to provide supports to all students to help them achieve and thrive. Dr. Temple Grandin presented a speech to the staff at Google in her presentation called The Autistic Brain, Thinking Across the Spectrum. Dr. Grandin explained her thought process and how she sees things, What really stuck out to me was how she explained that we need to work together. Engineering minds need artistic minds, and artistic minds need engineering minds. In our society, we focus on our differences and how that sets us apart or outcasts us. We need to work together to create a society that lifts each other up and focuses on our strengths, not weaknesses. When she speaks of people being on both ends, autistic and gifted, she focuses on their abilities, not their disparities. She talks about how we should be providing students with opportunities to develop and refine their abilities. If they enjoy math, give them math. Why take away math and make these students do art when that isn't their strength? When Temple discusses ways to help students who are different succeed. She lists them as stretching students out of their comfort zone, mentors guiding learning, get students working, and not letting them withdraw. Let students free play because it develops social skills, reintroduce hands-on classes, and we are losing resourceful problem-solving skills that come with making and hacking. In the classroom, I could implement free play, focus on problem-solving skills, and stretching students out of their comfort zone. Students need opportunities to talk, share, and discuss and disagree. During free play, this is possible. How will these students be able to hold a job if they're not able to function with these basic societal norms? Problem-solving skills are only fostered with practice. The shift in problem-based learning will hopefully help develop these skills in our students. As an educator, I believe it is my job to stretch students out of their comfort zone. Taking risks and making mistakes helps us to learn and grow. Knowing our students and what their strengths and weaknesses are the first step to student achievement. Some forms of resistance that I anticipate facing would be from other teachers that believe that the way that things are currently in the things that are going on currently in our system is working, and to try and change that would be too time-consuming and difficult to truly meet the needs of all of our students. Administration, I believe, would love to see truly inclusive equitable classrooms, but how are they supporting us teachers and students in the process? The government needs to allot more funding into special education, that more certs, specialized EAs, and smaller classes can be achieved. They speak about wanting to prepare our students for the real world and to be contributors to society, but without real supports, teachers are drowning in all the work and whatever ministry initiative is happening that year.